Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again. And it has long been due time for me to make a video, to make a sharing about my first ever Zippo lighter and how since then it has been a part of my life. I have been a rather spiritual person, um, and within the spiritual practice of Buddhism, candle lighting has been one of the important and a common practice throughout. So it's an action that would require a use of a lighter, and I think I can attribute further that during my early years when I was much younger, I would have walked past some of these fashion apparel shops that are at the street sides, and I remembered I had encountered these Zippo display cases that would be placed at the forefront and were built to be highly attractive and striking, particularly those rotating display cases that would tend to catch the eyes. So at that time, it was year 2011, I kind of recall that such of these display cases have had repeatedly caught my eyes, and at the at the bottom of my memory, I kind of had uh, some some faint impression of the Zippo lighters images being shown in movie and films. So that may have started a curiosity about such, and in relation to my spirituality and perhaps a necessity to find a decent lighter and something to light candles with, as well as something perhaps thinking that it's cool. My eyes began falling on to the Zippo lighters which I have been observing at the storefront. Yet, yet there was a hurdle I had faced, because owning a decent lighter was thought, that's from my perspective, was thought to be associated with smoking and the practice of lighting cigarettes, in which such a perspective are also commonly associated with many folks who came to know that I do not smoke despite being a Zippo collector, and that they are just as surprised. So yeah, this was the hurdle that I had to overcome with. On one day, I decided to just step into this fashion apparel shop in my own country, my region, and on that day I just made that determination to just plunge in and buy my first lighter. So this place, this shop is it was a fashion retailer known as 77th Street. Credits to them, but sadly they are no longer in business. So it was then and there where I got my first Zippo, which I will show right now. So on that very fateful day at that storefront, I had to come to a decision, making a choice of what would my first lighter be. So being a complete noob and knowing nothing much about Zippo, as this was the first step to take, I eventually decided to choose one of their basic models. But at that point of time, the regular brushed chrome was being sold, and the vintage replica models were, however, more expensive than the regular ones. Instead of a regular brushed chrome, I eventually settled on this right here. It's a regular street chrome, plain street chrome, made in June of 2011. That happens to be the exact year when this was acquired, F, which represents June of that year. Taking a look, that is my first lighter, and that both the month and the year of the insert and casing are the exact match. Now, beneath the tape would be my real name, which was engraved a handful of years later. And in which at that time, I also had this engraved, which says, "Do what you believe is right." This was a statement that I kind of felt resonating with. So my real name as well as this statement here were only engraved at a later period. So how I got started with this whole passion of Zippo collecting, well, I would confidently attribute to this lighter itself. Just hear the click, very beautiful sounding, and it was filled and it was fired briefly. As you can see that the felt pad has been slightly stained. So then with whatever was in the box and with the guarantee leaflet, I then realized about the lifetime warranty which Zippo had, and that was quite cool and impressive, because it's like almost no other products in this world would be covered and guaranteed in such ways. And this also marked the beginning of how I began to learn about the Zippo datings through the Zippo date codes. Well, so this pretty much sums up about how I kind of got started. And 2011 would be quite a long time back, say 10 years from now. And yeah, so it's kind of a lifelong passion, because 10 years down the road, and here I am still collecting Zippos and making videos and sharing about it. Alright guys, I guess this comes to an end of my sharing. So why not drop a comment in the comment section below. I would really like to hear about your first Zippo lighter, and perhaps how you got into this Zippo hobbies as well. Let's hope we engage in more sharings and interactions. And for now, I thank you for watching this video. Stay safe and have a great one.